Welcome to When Creativity Knocks, All-Star Designers Summer Series. Today, Judi Watanabe from JudiKins is here to show us this really fun Aloha banner card. So Judi, show us how you created this fun little banner card. What's our first step?
Well, our first step is to decorate this piece of paper. Now, what I've done is I've measured this to make sure that it will fit on my die. And
So you're making it with one of these Sizzix dies.
I'm going to use the Sizzix die here with this piece of paper or cardstock. But what I did was I stamped it with all of these different colorful stamps.
These fun JudiKin stamps. And I notice you're using glossy cardstock.
I'm using glossy cardstock because it makes for a nice, bright, crisp image.
Your colors are a little more vivid, yeah.
But the one thing, and most of our viewers already know how to rubber stamp, so I didn't want to go through the entire process. But one thing that I don't know that everybody has seen before is if you take kind of a solid stamp and you ink it up with your ink pad, okay? And you notice I'm kind of avoiding the little stamen here. But then I'm going to take my red marker.
And these water-based markers?
And these are water-based markers.
So over the ink. Now, see, I have not seen that done. I knew you could color on rubber stamps with markers and then stamp, but I didn't know you could mix the two. That is awesome. That's how you've got all these shades and variations.
Exactly. And one of the things that happens is, yes, we are kind of contaminating the tip with this magenta color, but you just rub it off on a scratch piece of paper and that gets the extra ink off of there. Then the other thing I want to do is come back in and highlight the stamen here. And it's kind of funny because when you kind of work with this gold color, you actually blend it with the magenta and kind of make a reddish, sort of pinkish color. So then you want to make sure that your stamp is nice and inky, and then you're just going to stamp it right on kind of the upper area of the card here. It's okay, because it doesn't really matter. It's just sort of the whole pattern.
It's kind of a collage effect.
Exactly.
I had wondered how you got the variation in the leaves. Now I see. That is awesome.
That's how I got that kind of variation.
Very neat.
And that ochre color actually.
It did. It combined.
And it sort of looks sort of magenta, but not really magenta.
There's definitely some good shading in there.
More burgundy, I guess you could say. So once you're finished with this, then what we're going to do is we're going to run it through the die here. Oh, one other thing. I actually decorated the back here. The back,
too.
And the reason why is because my little card or my little banner sort of flips.
When it opens, you are seeing both sides. So you're seeing both sides.
And I took my little stencil, I laid my stencil down, and then I've got this little foamy,
like a pouncing brush.
And then you just ink up. Take the little foam guy here, ink it up, and then just brush it lightly.
So you're brushing it instead of pouncing it.
Exactly. And
it almost looks like watercolored. It's very pretty.
It kind of makes this nice soft coloring on the whole background. So I did that whole background, and then I stamped with my stamps over the top.
Again, just random collage style.
Exactly. Okay, so now we're going to run this through the die. And one of the things that's kind of unique is that you notice how I'm folding this here, and normally when you use
about a half inch, it looks like you fold it up about a half inch.
Exactly. And normally what you do when you're running that through the die, you don't, a normal cutout for the card, you don't need to fold this over, but because we're going to be assembling this as like an accordion fold, you do need to fold one edge of it.
Okay.
Then what you're going to do is you're going to lay this over, and you just don't want, this is where the cut is going to be.
So you're avoiding that cut mark.
You're avoiding the cut mark. So you make sure everything's kind of centered, and then you line everything up. Now Sizzix recommends that you use one of these crease pads with this die. And that's absolutely true. But because my paper is kind of thick, if I use the crease pad, then I found that the die doesn't cut through.
Because your cardstock is so thick.
It's so thick.
This is the Sizzix fancy flippets, they call them, and they make like a kinetic card.
So that's the only reason why I'm not going to use the crease pad today. But I wanted to mention it. So
yeah, I know they recommend it with these flip-it type styles.
Exactly. So then what I'm going to do is, would you mind doing the honors of running that
Running it through the machine. We do have a tutorial to walk you through using a Sizzix Big Shot on our website. Let me make sure I'm still not. Oops, I moved it with my big old butterfingers. Backwards, here we go.
You're getting good at that.
I'm getting real good at it. See me knock everything over?
Yay, perfect.
I've got my big extender pads here, so we're a little over big what we need to be.
But see how we were able to cut the card out, and then we would fold it and fold it this way. Okay, so that you can see.
So there's your little kinetic card.
That's the flippy part.
And you've attached them to make our big banner.
Exactly.
Which is so clever.
I have this
so clever.
Just so you can kind of see, I'm going to show you how I've assembled everything. So see, I've got that fold there, but I've glued it to the card in front here.
So each one is connected to the next one where you made the fold.
Right, and I use the zip dry.
Beacon zip dry, which is great for paper crafts.
To just adhere that. So we're going to take, I think I have enough here. Do I have enough? 1, 2, 3. No, I need 2 more for Aloha, right? So we have
Aloha.
Yeah, thank you.
Big math here.
Right.
Yeah, we need 5.
There's going to be we need to have enough fingers there. So
do I need to go to toes?
So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit of this adhesive on here.
That's why I took extra art classes instead of extra math.
So then I just apply some of the zip dry
along that folded tab.
The little folded tab, just like so. And the nice thing is because it's clear, you can't see it.
If you do have any squeeze out, it's not going to be an issue.
Exactly.
And then you started on the end without the fold?
Right.
Okay.
So I just kind of keep doing this.
I'm going to hold this down so you can see what she's doing.
Thank you. And then we just set that down. You just want to make sure that everything kind of glues together and that you're straight. Okay.
It sets pretty quickly too, that zip dry does.
There we go.
It's zip dry.
That's clever. Okay. So now the other thing that's kind of tricky with this card is the when we flip it. So let me just pull this in so you can see. When this is in the envelope, it looks like this. And so we need this center panel. But would you believe that this is actually a cutout? Now, I decided that I'm going to try doing this with the one die that I have. So it takes a little bit of extra
patience,
alignment. And you take one of the cards that you've already cut out, and you have to align this on the die again.
So I see inside there, that little recessed area. That's what you're talking about.
Well, actually, it's along this edge with the die, but right in this area here, there's no place that it cuts it, and that's why it's not cut here.
Okay.
So you want to pick up where the die is, which is up in this area.
The blade of it.
Right. So this area here has no blade, but this is where the blade is. And I just want to finish off this little curve here. So I just kind of align it like this.
I see. You're just slicing through the rest.
Right. And you just kind of make sure that everything sort of fits, but I'm only cutting this extra part right here.
Okay. And then you would run it through the machine again?
Then we run it through the machine again.
And what you end up with is, through the magic of television?
Yes, exactly. So then I ended up with a piece that looks like this.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what I did was I stamped it with my ukulele inlay. And then I colored that in with markers. And then this becomes the piece that glues on here.
Top piece.
Now, if you really want to make this a little fancier, you could trim it
Just so it fits inside.
Just
I
so
see
it
you've
fits
done that
inside.
just so you have a little bit of a stamped edge around it.
Right, right, exactly. And that's so that when it opens up, it doesn't catch.
Oh, that's a good point too, so that you don't have that double layer.
Right.
So
And
it's worth the patience it takes to do that little bit of trim around it.
Exactly. And don't worry too much if it's not exactly perfect, because it gets hidden
with that collage background.
Right, right. So now the other thing is when the card lays out and you get the flip of all of the letters here, that was done with another die. So I have all of my little pieces of cardstock that I stamped out with the basket weave.
Say, it looks like a basket, yeah.
Yeah, so I have this little basket weave stamp
That's
here.
a neat background stamp.
And I just colored the cardstock with kind of an ochre color and then stamped the basket weave stamp
right over the top
right over the top
and then used one of the alphabet stamps. This is their All-Star 1.5-inch capitals you used to cut out your Aloha.
Exactly. And one of the things, the reason why I cut these pieces a little bit smaller is because I was being conservative, because sometimes stamping is just a little bit extra work. So if you lay...
You can cut out just the letter you need.
You can cut out the letters exactly. So I just laid that on the top and then I cut out my A-L-O-H-A. And then again, I attached that with the zip dry glue.
Okay, to each of the flipping panels.
Right. So that's how my the little card part went together.
It's so colorful and fun.
To make the hanger, I just love flowers. Yeah. And to make the little hanger, what I did was I used the Makin's No Bake Clay. Now here's the white, and I just rolled it out, and then I used all of these cute little flower shaped
and the clay cutter set.
Now from one of the other projects that I did, I also made flowers, and what happens is this is what it looks like when you first cut it out.
Yeah, you get a flat.
And then you take a pair of scissors and you actually cut in between the petals.
This was, when you did this, I was just fascinated by how you added the dimension and depth that you did to these clay flowers.
And then once you have them cut, then you just kind of mold it and then let everything dry. And that took...
And you did the cutting of these when they were still fresh, when the clay was not dry yet.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you rolled it thin. It looks like it's pretty thin, a little less than 1/8 of an inch maybe.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And then cut it with the clay cutter and then went ahead with your scissors while they were still wet so you could mold them, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And then once that's finished drying, then what I did was I actually used some of the mica gloss.
It's beautiful on the clay.
To color it.
Yeah, Makin's clay takes finishes beautifully, but I've never tried the mica gloss. That is beautiful.
It works really nice on here, and you're gonna...
It's iridescent. I don't know if you can see it, but it really is. It's beautifully iridescent.
And one of the things is most people would use a paintbrush to paint the mica gloss if they wanted to, but I kind of used my fingers on this one.
I love to use my fingers when I'm painting and
because it washes off with water, so it's
you have
no
a little
problem.
more control.
A little bit, and so once this is finished drying, then what I did was I used this 527.
The Beacon 527, to adhere them to a piece of ribbon.
And then I adhered it to the ribbon.
And I love how you even cut them differently. I mean, you showed us how you did this one, but this one she's done the same technique, but she's turned her petals sideways. And then this one that they're raised up. I love how you take a flat clay cutter and turn it into a dimensional embellishment.
It's great with this clay because
Makin's clay is perfect
so
for it, and it's lightweight and it's flexible so that you don't have to worry about it being brittle, so it's perfect for paper crafts.
And then this whole thing fits into a regular envelope and it's all set to mail so that when the recipient gets their little card, they open it up and they have an
It's so much fun.
banner.
It's so colorful, and what a fun thing to hang and celebrate your birthday, or what a fun gift to give to someone to celebrate their birthday. This is so much fun, and we've had a great time with our tropical theme, and thank you for joining us for our All-Star Summer Series, Judy.
Absolutely.
We sure hope you've enjoyed When Creativity Knocks All-Star Designer Summer Series. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and pin us on Pinterest.
And sign up on our website to receive our weekly newsletter and be eligible to receive one of our weekly prize packages full of products from all of our series sponsors.